Welcome to Tarot in White Oracle, where we get into the cloud to see what we see. This is your mirror soul for Sagittarius, a one soul or one soul frequency, depending on how you want to look at it, in two different bodies, two different experiences. Remember, I do read for the mirror soul, and some of its purposes are the spiritual awakening, spiritual growth, alignment within yourself, and the frequency being raised within you, therefore within the collective. But also remember that when you are aligned and your person's aligned, it does mean union, but for many of you, this will take many lifetimes. So realize that this is a connection that's rare and is about the spiritual journey. And so if your connection is mostly about drama, remember to be real about yourself and whether or not you are actually in a mirror soul. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. As I was meditating, I was hearing two hearts that beat as one. If you guys know the rest of the lyrics, you can post it in the comments. That might resonate for some of you. You might feel very connected to your person, as you usually do in a mirror soul. What I was getting for the central energy or the energy over the next 30 days, I do read for current energy and as it will be flowing over the next 30 days. I do see conclusions are within reach. So I feel like many of you are going to be having a lot of realizations, aha moments. You're going to understand things a lot better. Things will become more clear as the 30 days moves through. This energy also means that doors may be closing, that a connection might be reaching the peak, and you are going to be coming to realizations around that. But to know that what you're experiencing is what you're meant to be experiencing. Your soul is going to be evolving through the purposes of the connection and what you're experiencing. So another energy to be mindful of is forgiveness as well. This is a reminder that if someone's wronged you, even though it's really hard, to learn to let that go. As the old saying is, you know, when you refuse to forgive someone, you are basically drinking the poison in the cup that they handed you. So there's something to understand about letting go and forgiving so that you can move on. And know that what is meant for you will always come for you and it won't pass you by. For many of you, doors that are shutting now will not be reopened. And it's a time for you to get back on track. So these are some of the messages that are coming through with this energy. Let's go ahead and dive into the divine masculine. This side will represent divine masculine. We do have divine feminine on this side. Take gender as it resonates. This is just the energy and everyone possesses a feminine and masculine. But these mirror souls will push and pull each other and influence each other's energy throughout their entire life. The masculine side, I do see Judgment and the King of Wands. So the masculine energy has been shifting, trying to resurrect something within itself that it knows on a soul level, having some sort of deeper connection, a version of themselves that's newer. It's like leaving the past behind and being new, reborn toward the future. This energy is very connected to the energy that we see with the King of Wands. So the masculine is coming out of this energy, but in the current energy, they're moving into feeling a bit disempowered. It's like they maybe know what their soul contract is. They know that they're connected to you on a soul level, but their energy is reversed. It's like they feel a lack of confidence, disempowered, maybe not able to do it or move forward. Maybe like, you know what, I don't really want to listen to what my soul contract is. I don't want to fulfill it right now. This is a moody energy. Your person might swing with moods as well. What I do feel in the feminine side of the energy, the divine feminine, is the Nine of Swords and Five of Pentacles. So her past energy feels very fear oriented, scared. Again, the Five of Pentacles is also like scared and left out in the cold energy. So they're both fear energies. It feels like she feels abandoned, or a sense of anxiety and stress, and you know, are you going to be there for me in the morning, or for me in commitment, or in this relationship? A sense of where are you? And so I feel like this has happened in the recent past, and for many of you, or most of you, there's a separation that took place between you. And since we're in February, this is probably something that happened in January. I feel like you guys are separated, or you're not talking, or you're on break, something like this. I do get, for the blockage that the masculine needs to work on through the month of February, is the mask of happiness. So are you hiding sadness behind forced smiles? Authenticity heals deeper than avoidance. And the advice energy that came out was the Queen of Wands. And so we now have the King and Queen of Wands, but both are in the reverse. So there's a strong sense that the masculine energy is not wanting to fulfill the soul contract. There's a sense that in the past, recently, throughout January, he was moving forward. He was going through a spiritual awakening. But then now it's like there's a block. It's like he's put a pause on it, and there's an avoidance and wearing a mask. This energy, this is like telling you to look at what you're avoiding. What within your soul feels like it's not right, or what within you feels like, you know what, I'm hiding the sadness that I'm feeling inside, and I'm forcing these smiles. Why am I sad? To dig down deeper into that. Of course, journaling can help, painting can help. There's a lot of self-help books. Online therapists as well can be really helpful. And to look deeper into what emotions are you avoiding to pretend that you're not sad, or to pretend that you're happy. Because your King and Queen of Wands are both reversed, which means you're not happy, right? Because if you were happy, then you would be on your soul's path, because that's what brings us our ultimate happiness. So when it's reversed, it's like you're not actually listening to what your soul is telling you. You're not listening to your inner child, your authentic self. You're not listening to what it is you're really wanting. And you're wearing those masks, maybe for society, maybe for work, maybe for family. But there's a strong sense of needing to unveil those masks and look at them. All right, so when we jump onto our Divine Feminine, we do get breaking mental chains and the Two of Pentacles. So her blockage over the course of the next 30 days is needing to really look at those negative cycles that she has in her mind, those negative belief systems about herself, about commitment, relationship, about the mirror soul energy itself, maybe. Old belief systems can keep you stuck. Be willing to challenge and rewrite them. So the advice is, like, this is going to be a long process. So don't beat yourself up as you're going through these rewiring of how you think, because how you think is really based on your emotions, which is really based on your nervous system. And it's a hard process to undo what it is we're so used to doing. So this is an advice that says, remember to go slow. Take your time. You don't need to put a bunch of pressure on yourself. When you are balancing and you feel like you're in balance, move forward, unravel some more of those mental chains. And then if you feel unbalanced, take a pause, take a breath. And then when you feel ready, take those small steps forward. It's not a sprint. This is like a snail pace, right? If you need it to be that slow. This is just taking positive steps forward in the direction you want to be, in the way that you want to think more accurately or more positively, rather than stuck to the way society taught you, or your family taught you, or some bad experiences. taught you to think about things. So this is very strong on the divine feminine side of the energy to help her realign herself with her spiritual growth. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we have for intentions on the divine masculine side, and actions. We get our Six of Swords and the Eight of Swords. So very much in the mind, Sagittarius. Your intentions feel like you're going to be brave, you want to be brave, you want to move forward, even if it's in uncharted territory, uncharted waters. It's like you want to move forward, right? And that's what I see here in the Judgment. You know, it's a sense of embracing the change, embracing what your soul is telling you, having a new version of yourself, putting the old self in the past, right? But then what do? You feel trapped, you feel stuck. You're like, I don't know what the answer is here. And it feels like maybe you're tied to your person, and the tie to your person is blocking you as well from being able to move forward in your own journey, especially because these connections can feel very intense. The King of Wands and Queen of Wands are both reversed as well, as we said earlier. So there's a sense of, it's like, I want to move forward, I am moving forward, I am listening to what my soul is saying, and you know, I'm going to be brave about going into this uncharted territory, but then bam, I'm stuck. I'm not listening to my soul contract anymore. I'm moody, I'm not feeling confident, I'm feeling disempowered. I feel like I've got no magic, no motivation, no oomph anymore, and I'm masking what I'm really feeling so I can blend into society, kind of thing. And I feel stuck, and it's no wonder you feel stuck now, right? Your action becomes stuck because you're not being honest with yourself. You're not turning these energies back into empowerment, back into listening to what your emotions, your nervous system, and your soul are telling you. And so when you're able to listen to that and not pretend you're happy when you're not, and maybe even write through in a journal, keep track of when you're feeling a certain way, what's happening, what you're thinking about, do that for a week, and then review it, and you'll start to see some patterns that you can unravel. So let's go ahead and dive into the divine feminine. We do get the Magician and the Ace of Pentacles reversed, and they're both reversed. Her intention is the Magician. So I feel like she's wanting to hide, to conceal her pain, her raw emotions. This is avoidance, which is what I was feeling on the masculine side, the masculine divine as well. There's a sense of both of you in having some sort of disempowerment, separation, feeling the pain of it. The agony is really being felt by the feminine, whereas the male is feeling more disempowered. And the feminine is also, though, wanting to conceal her pain, hide away. Not really sure if she can take the next step or a step forward. This does have the symbol of the infinity, as well as her Two of Pentacles on the bottom. So I feel like these two energies are connected. This energy, her intention, it's like way down in her heart, it's reminding her of the advice around her blockage, which is, this is an eternal process. You can't get it wrong. You have as many chances as you need. And this is an eternal connection, so you will always be connected to your person throughout this life and other lifetimes. And just take those steps forward. And as you do that, as you're feeling this energy go from hidden or I can't do it to I can do it, and I'm going to come out into the open. It'll reverse as you're taking those steps forward. Now I do see her actions feel like she's not ready to get into anything new, and she may not be ready to get back with this person. There's a sense of stall, a sense of waiting. I'm not really sure what the next step is in life right now. So her action is like on pause. So both the masculine and feminine are feeling a sense of maybe tied to you, and I need to go forward, but I'm also tied to you, and I'm not sure how to. I feel restricted. I feel like there's not a solution around this. And the feminine is like, I don't really want to start something with anyone else. I don't know if I want to start something with you. I'm feeling very stuck on what's next in life. We do get focused energy. So what should our masculine focus on? Our masculine energy should focus on our Two of Wands, which is a 1-1. And this is all about putting some thought into planning around the reunion. This is a strong reunion energy. So this is saying, focus on that reunion. How do you want it to be? How do you want to be in it? And put thought around it. Focus on your plans around the reunion that you want. And as you're focusing on the reunion that you want, you'll pull yourself out of feeling disenabled and trapped and wanting to be more true to yourself, wanting to be authentic. And as you do that, you'll unravel that unhappiness, where it's coming from, and be able to look at your soul's happiness. What will make your soul happy? And then put your 2 soul contracts back upright. So on the divine feminine side, the energies are telling her to focus on going slow. See, like when this is in the upright, this is going fast. This is urgent. But in the reverse, this is like saying, you know what, you don't have to rush. You don't have to be speedy. You can go slow. And that's the energy we were getting here too in the advice. It's like, just take 1 foot in front of the other. And that's all you need to do. Go slow. This isn't a sprint. You don't have to run for the race line. And this energy is all about, you don't need to take that new beginning. You don't need to start something new with someone else or with this person if you don't feel ready. So her advice energy is reminiscent of her action and what she should focus on is reminiscent of her action and her advice energy. Because this is what you need to focus on the feminine side. And this is what the masculine needs to focus on. So the masculine's being called to focus on what he wants that reunion to look like with her. And she is told to be focused on, you don't need to rush it. You can be patient. You don't need to take a step. You don't need to make a move, because you're feminine energy. You're receptive. The feminine is to receive, not to do. To do is his job. So you don't need to take a step. You don't need to take an action. And you don't need to start something new here. You don't need to start something new with anyone else. So her intentions line up with what she needs to focus on. Her actions line up with what she needs to focus on. But her intentions will become a little bit more clear as she comes out of her shell. Because it feels like her energy is really raw over here. And so there's like a sense of wanting to hide her pain in a way. All right, so we're going to go ahead and look at on the divine masculine energy, what was hidden is the death energy and death and rebirth. And what I got on the divine feminine is the Fool. So very similar energies at the bottom of the deck for both masculine and feminine, which is their hidden energy. What's hidden within the masculine is he's going to end something here and move forward into something new. And so if he's feeling very stuck, he's going to end that feeling and move toward feeling unstuck, move toward feeling not trapped. If you guys are in separation, he's going to be moving out of separation and moving toward reunion. So this is a sense of ending and transforming. He's going through transformations. The feminine ultimately will be diving in. This is like a faith of energy, a faith like a child energy, a faith energy of diving into the next step. So diving ahead toward her masculine, if he's coming this direction, right, then she will eventually dive forward. But she's being asked to just be receptive. Don't be in doing mode, because that's masculine energy, not feminine energy. And you don't need to make plans. You don't need to have those creative solutions right now. You don't need to be thinking about your masculine. How can I make it happen? How can I this? this is a very strong energy that is a full energy, but also an Ace of Swords is what it feels like to me. And so this is telling you, you don't need to be all in your mind about your masculine. Just focus on yourself. Focus on taking those steps forward to release those mental chains, you know, around old thinking patterns. And when the time is right, when he's transformed, you will then be diving toward him, right? Or if you are in connection and it's not right and it's completely disaligned, he will be walking away and you will be walking away. And then you will have a separation until it's time for you to have a reunion again. And I do see a reunion here. So either way, a reunion is on the board for you guys. So thank you for joining, and we're going to go ahead and dive into our oracle energy advice for the masculine. Pull yourself close. Every part of your being is deserving of love. So throughout life, harmful events can occur that bring splintering of the inner self. So this separation within the self can be a necessary survival tool. When our inner world becomes overwhelming, we're unable to process our events. However, the inner self will always desire reconciliation of the splintered aspects. Because of this, these banished parts will experience pain as long as there is separation within you. By pulling these splintered aspects of self close in love and acceptance, we can bring healing to our inner world. So every time you're in separation with your mirror soul, it will trigger you into growth as well. So when you're together, you each mirror each other and you trigger those parts within you. But when you're in separation, it feels so painful, right? Until you come to more alignment within yourself, because it feels like you're separated from yourself. But as you realign within yourself and you start to heal those separated parts within yourself, the separation no longer feels as painful. So that's why alignment within yourself is also so important. So this is on the masculine side of the energy. And let's go ahead and dive into the feminine's oracle. All right, so our feminine oracle advice: unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So this is reminiscent of breaking mental chains, right? She has these old belief systems and she's being called to release soul patterns. Whereas he had the mask of happiness. He's really sad inside, right? And his oracle was pull yourself close. So every part of your being is deserving of love. So this oracle advice that I pulled in the pre-shuffle is just repeating what came out in his blockage. So yeah, beautiful. All right, so for her side, we get, it's time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They're coming up to be healed. There has never been a safer time to clean or clear these patterns than right now. So take a look at the patterns in your life that you're ready to release. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made have an expiration date. And it could be a vow of silence, chastity, poverty. It's time to unwind from them. So this is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of life's past. What old ways of being have an expiration date? When you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. So when acknowledging the old patterns, it's important to acknowledge how they served you up until now. For example, a soul pattern of playing small causes a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice would have served you by keeping you safe. So that ties exactly into this energy here. So this is like moving, or this energy, this is her hiding and keeping herself small to not be seen. And it's talking about how doing this did help her feel safe, right? But there's a need now to look at that and to look at how maybe she's making herself small, making herself hidden or quiet or in the background. is a part of something she needs to look at. And the advice here is all about, you need to listen to your calling. In order to grow, you need to soften by receiving also. And so, yeah, that was another message in here. You might have a tendency to want to take control and do because you're wanting your voice to be heard. But you really need to listen to your own voice, come out of your own hiding, so that you don't have this, not so much compulsion, but in a way it kind of is, to do, to feel like you're being heard. And instead, once you hear your soul self, you can take a rest back and be receptive, in a receptive mode. So the advice also is, it's time to unbind from old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. So very similar messages throughout for the masculine and for the feminine. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you all in the next 30 days. And let me know how things go. Go ahead and comment. Let me know what resonates. And remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.